on Villa with Supremacy banning first. As we said, they will be defending first as well, and they get the first attacker ban. Lion has been banned all day. Mira has actually not been banned at all on the two Villas that we've seen, which likely aids the defense a lot. Is this a course correction that we're going to see from Supremacy, as they literally will wait the timer all the way down to the end to pick their first ban, and it's going to be Glaz.
Okay, so Lion's still in play, though of course we can expect Chaos to ban him out here, which would be the same bans as what we just saw in the previous match, Secret versus G2. But no, it's Maverick instead, which means Lion's still in play. That is going to be very interesting to see when it actually comes to the match, and I think you can expect him to be played most every round given that ban. But Mira also going to be taken care of.
So would you look at this, Glaz and Mav being banned, I don't think impacts either the attackers or the defenders as much as Mira will be a major asset to the attackers. And now Smoke as well, meaning that you can use a Thermite and a Hibana quite liberally here and only really have to worry about two operators.
That's the second Smoke ban we've had today. He's a little bit of an odd ban. He's definitely a versatile operator, but less so after the SMG-11 nerf. The first time we saw it was on Oregon, too, and Oregon makes a lot more sense in my mind in terms of banning that operator. Aviator going to be the first defense here for Supremacy. So the typical site for any team. They have a very versatile lineup. They've managed to bring quite a lot of information, and they're even going to six-pick off of a Valkyrie into a Clash, as she was left unbanned. That's definitely a powerful operator to have in play still, and it's going to aid Supremacy even more on this defensive half. Lineup for Chaos also pretty good, though. As you can see, the Buck is a very versatile operator that's brought often on Villa attack. You can use him to open up quite a lot of positions and deal with those spots that Supremacy can use to anchor so easily.
All right, let's get things underway. Here's Aviator, even without a Mira in play, even without a Smoke in play, we're still going to go back to all reliable up top.
Yes. So, the Evil Eyes and the Yokai is going to start going down the setup established here for Supremacy. They're going to also have that Pulse who can roam downstairs. It's going to be a big part of the round. What will happen to the roamer downstairs of Dejuz? Will he be shut down by the Chaos anti-roam, which is very likely to start trying to clear down there, because they also want to open up from below, as is evident by the pick on the Buck. Another interesting thing is Texas seems to be playing pretty heavily off-site. I don't know if that's him just trying to bait out, maybe, but you usually want to play your Clash near the rest of your teammates so that you can give them information and get some kills. But if you play him too far away, you can be kind of useless.
I mean, I feel like when we saw G2 playing Clash, they had Jonas playing very far off-site.
Yeah.
Because they knew that it was difficult to take him in a 1v1 engagement.
But it didn't work out.
But I mean, it didn't work out. He got pinched pretty early on. But I mean, hey, Red Groove's going to spot the Clash right away. First kill's going to go to Snookin. Sounds like he gets alive through the floor with that skeleton key.
Well done to Snookin. And this north clear already working out well for Chaos. Tactis aware of the clear. Interesting that Renshiro decided not to shoot the Yokai drone. He did have a line of sight on it, but maybe didn't think much of it earlier when he was viewing that drone through his gadget. Chaos continuing to push from the north side, clearing from the opposite side of the actual bomb site. Makes sense. Snookin not actually going to go downstairs. He's just going to be working his way in horizontally, which also works. I mean, there's a lot of soft destruction you can do as a Buck on this map, no matter where you're clearing from. Dejuz, seeing that nobody's pressuring him from study balcony, and because of that, he can play inside a study, which is a great position to have if you're allowed to have it. Usually what you would see is the attackers position at least one player on the study balcony to apply that pressure and cut off that exact rotation.
There's your first set of phone calls as well that'll echo through the halls of Villa. And Dejuz gets found in Crips with the C75. That's an easy kill through the floor there. And look at that. K6 and Tactis realize that maybe play a little bit closer to one another. K6 will still go for the very slow peak. Phone calls still going off, giving the position away. Crypt's low on HP, but at the same time, probably not going to be the main focal point here. You've got the sights of Anthrax looking towards the window as K6 takes some damage, and the Zofia trying to use her launcher as best as she can, but she's going to repel in, and this could be a very easy kill for Anthrax as he just clicks away. Red Groove down, K6 answers back, and it's a 3v3 in a hurry. This has tightened up.
Yeah, it's definitely looked like it could be a Supremacy round as they look poised to hold this off, but secretly an excellent shot onto K6. You can see the clash is still in play. Tactics is going to be slowing this push quite a lot by himself. The question is, what will Anthrax be able to do by himself over by the bar? Tactics get pushed on, and secretly a double kill for him using the Bearing 9. Nerf be darned, he manages to make it work. Chaos will take the first round.
If you look, he just aimed at center mass and let the recoil do the rest of the work and managed to get the headshot with it, very similar to what we see out of the MP5 suppressed that runs on the Echo, as it's just a headshot machine straight up. So a pretty convincing round there from Chaos. Good entry, very fortunate to get that pick on Alive using the skeleton key. Not exactly certain if that was planned or not, or if it just happened to be that he went fishing and got lucky, who knows. Overall though, broke things wide open, and then I don't think they got a lot out of that clash, I'll be completely honest with you. They didn't really waste a lot of time with her. She just kind of sat heavily fortified inside a site, didn't really do much to have the rest of Supremacy play around her, just kind of seemed to tread water for the team. And I mean, maybe a bit of misplay strategy involving the clash or not. Maybe use her a bit more aggressively at the doorways to try and prevent Chaos from being able to do what they need to do. A good example of that was the shot that Secretly got when he hit the deck onto the Maestro inside a vault. It was a beautiful shot. Where was the clash? Also there, nearby, but not giving the covering, the covered support that was needed for the shield operator.
The information is abundant from Clash. I mean, you're calling out your opponents, right? But you need to be doing more than just that. And I agree with you. I think Tactics could have played it better. Now, Supremacy is going to choose to go back to Aviator, which is going to be, I think, the advantage in favor of Chaos because of this. I got to say, this map of any map is the type of map where you could, you can go anywhere else. If you're losing somewhere, just make a rotation happen, man. There are so many other ways to defend each of these bomb sites, and so many different viable bomb sites that your options really abound. It might be the right call to try and explore them, but no, not so here in this match so far. Supremacy sticking it out. We'll see if it works out for them, or if they're going to have to revise a second time around. You can see it's going to be yet another north side clear for Chaos. They're just going to clear the opposite end of the map before they push into the site. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, pretty standard clear overall. And Red Groove is in the similar spot that we saw him in last time around. This is where he first laid eyes upon the clash that Supremacy was running then, and they'll be running again this time around, as it looks like a very similar composition for Supremacy. They'll see if they can use it a little bit differently, because it really wasn't ultimately successful when they put it all together. Chaos is a very aggressive team, and they can be able to set up for trades very, very well. And usually you will see a back and forth when they do start to go with their entry. Right now, they are a bit spread apart. Alive, though, coming back to the team. Wee says his name, and no, as there goes Crips, once again getting a kill with that C75. He'll find Alive this time around. So Alive not going down to the skeleton key, but down nonetheless. K6 almost dropped 2. Very lucky to be walking away with that with just a tiny bit of HP, so a bit of a limp in his step there, but sitting inside a vault. They'll have to finish him off. And there you go. He'll get down and picked up, but they're going to have to hustle as the wall's going to get blown wide open, and he's going to get out of there, but gets spotted by Secretly ever so slightly before he puts his back to the wall.
He is now trapped in that gun vault, and it'll be an easy kill for Secretly. K6 goes down, and the reset really not working out there for the Supremacy defense. Now, Renewal's going to be applying a lot of pressure through that opened up hole, and Chaos is in seemingly full control of the round right now, as the last 3 defenders are just sitting inside of A, with the clash inside of B, trying to slow this down as much as possible. Good yokai drone placement there. not seen by the IQ. Somehow Tactus goes down, despite having a shield in front of him. And that will leave just Juz and Anthrax, final 2 defenders. And they don't have anything to stop this push, really. Anthrax does have the Yokai drone inside of B. He could potentially deny a plant, and with so little time, that could actually be the saving grace for Supremacy. But the rotation is cut off into Vault, so Juz cannot get into B. And as the marks start coming out from his teammates, Juz, nice headshot onto Renewals. Excellent placement there. The Yokai drone will deny 1 set of plant, but he's unable to do any more, seemingly out of charges. The pistol from Juz not going to bear any fruit. Red Groove actually wins that fight, leaving Anthrax in the 1 versus 3, and it's just not going to happen. Chaos lock it out, and that's another round in their favor. 2 in a row.
And how much can possibly be changed by a set of operator bans? No smoke and no Mira, and the defense crumbles after 2 rounds. I mean, it is a bit of a snapshot, and as you can see, Trophy and Statuary is where Supremacy will go for the 3rd round. I think that's a smart idea because Aviator is just not working for them at all. So where do you go? Well, you're going to go to Trophy and Statuary and hope that things work better there. If that fails, then maybe try Aviator again, or maybe go downstairs to Kitchen and really see what you can get going. But overall, it's been a disappointing start from Supremacy, and Chaos really haven't had much opposition. Alive in particular has just been getting picked off too early and has been a major, he hasn't been a major factor whatsoever.
It's important to note that we've seen Villa play twice today so far, and no matter the caliber of the teams playing on this map today, no one has managed to win more than 2 attack rounds on this map. So if Chaos wins another attack round in this half, then that is a pretty clear sign that they are slotted to win the match overall. I mean, even in the G2 versus Supremacy, or sorry, G2 versus Secret match we just watched, G2, while they looked very dominant, they won 6-3, they only managed to take 2 attacking wins. So that's worth noting.
This is where Supremacy needs to find that gas pedal.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, 2 times in a row now, this clash has been a very an eyebrow-raising pick, but a lot of teams getting some mileage out of Clash, and I really haven't seen it here from Supremacy. You've got to wonder, at least in my opinion, if they could have gone with maybe a Maestro in place of this Clash, maybe even go with an Ella or a Legion here in particular if they're going to use the Clash in a close quarters style of situation. I think that having a better close quarters operator that you're more comfortable with. And this is something that we've seen from a number of teams with new operators. We saw this with Ying a lot when she debuted as well, where that teams were very hell-bent on using her, but they didn't really know how to use her all that well. But they just kind of kept trying to fit her in. It's something that King George actually said in the first interview that I did when I came to Pro League, was he said that Ying seems like a lot of teams are trying to just force her in rather than adapt her organically. I think you could say the same thing about Clash. Whether people will agree or not is really up to them.
You could even say the same about Maverick, to be fair. I mean, usually that's what happens with the new operators. Every time there's this new set of operators, they do get forced into the meta. But there's definitely a high skill ceiling with Clash and Maverick. And by that I mean there's a lot you can do with the operators. Doesn't necessarily make them skill intensive. It just means there's something to learn there where you can use them properly. Now, you can see that it's going to be a trophy hold, and the setup overall from Supremacy is very focused on the actual site. A trend that is uncommon. Most teams, while defending on Villa today, have been heavy invests into the roam, and not so here for Supremacy. That might aid Chaos just a little bit. Red Groove going to win a seemingly easy fight, just peeking onto K6. And okay, there you go, man advantage Chaos already to begin the round. That's interesting. Tactus was between Red Groove and K6, and it still managed to result in a kill for Chaos.
Snookin doesn't know it unless this team is calling this out to him, but he could possibly get a pick here onto the Clash, and Red Groove just not fast enough, getting slowed down by the shock, as Alive also finished off. Alive's impact today not being quite what is needed. Coming back to this team, Clash will pull out her sidearm as she puts the shield on her back before switching back. Of course, that very quick swap allows her to dive behind cover and then come back out and take a fight if need be. But her whole team is dying around her. Tactus will now need to quiet his phone as it's just Anthrax and Tactus left, and Anthrax gets finished off as Secretly will pick up 2 kills. That double burst SMG pulls out, and it's a flawless round from Chaos, doing something that no team has been able to do today, which is take more than 2 rounds on attack. As you noted, it's 3-0 for Chaos.
So it might be a little early to call it, and by all accounting it certainly is, but judging by the history of today, 3 rounds on attack spells certain defeat for Supremacy. And again, might be early to call it, but that's just how it's shaping up right now. A lot of things happened in that round that are confusing to me. For example, K6 went down instantly as soon as Red Groove was peeking from the hallway. Very common peek to happen. Tactus was also in a position to potentially deny that angle for a Red Groove, but it didn't. Well, he did not. Playing Clash, it just didn't work out for him. You could see it looks like they're actually going to 6-pick him off of Clash. Makes a lot of sense. Nothing's been coming of it so far. I can see the frustration in that 6-pick for Tactus. I can imagine, you know, saying to your team, guys, I'm just not able to help. I can't do anything to assist you. I need to play something that's not Clash. And yeah, I think that's definitely the right call. You can see there's almost no teeth to the Supremacy lineup right now. The most kills for any of them being 1, and that's only 3 of them. So definitely not having a good match so far. Supremacy are going to change things up and come off of that shield operator, though they will continue to try and defend Trophy.
I mean, nothing particularly wrong with Trophy. Trophy does tend to be a site that isn't as impacted so hard by the defender bans as Aviator is. A lot of teams can opt to go to Trophy first if Mirror ends up being banned, or if Echo is banned, or if Maestro is banned, etc. But I do have to question Supremacy's investment in these anchor operators. You know, they've really been putting it on Anthrax as the Echo, but when they're all dying around him, I don't really see a lot of confidence in that Echo play. The Yokai has not really been a factor. Anthrax was able to get 1 kill early on, and I believe it was the first round, possibly even the second round, but that was really it. That's the only contributor that you have. And the biggest problem that Supremacy has had has been this offsite play. So maybe a bit too much of a critical look at their anchor play, given that their anchors are just folding because they find themselves in a 1v3, 1v4, 2v3, 2v4 situation repeatedly.
Yeah, also their roamers, they don't usually have very many, but when they do, they haven't been able to make anything happen just yet. And I really appreciate that Tactus has decided to come off of the Clash and onto the Vigil, because that's going to add to the roam game and could give you the advantage that you need. There it is, Tactus, a nice flank onto Renewals, who had been sitting at that corner for a solid 30 seconds. Good play for the Vigil, and here we go. Supremacy might have this round. We'll see.
Just like every good Ashe, sitting prone, stationary, getting the most usage out of her as an operator.
Just waiting, biding his time, but it's not going to work out this go around. And bad information from Chaos. That is right there. Possibly overconfidence, but definitely oversight, and should have been a little bit more thoroughly thought out.
Yeah, that's a problematic death that you find yourself on, especially for somebody who's going to be your main spear or your first point of entry with the Ashe. And I know that I joked that, you know, being immobile and all that jazz, but it's going to mean that Red Groove and Crips are going to be the two that are going to be primary frag getters now as they transition in towards and execute with just a minute to go. And it's going to be Crips, as he still has both of his logic bombs available. He's very, very close to Vigil, and he'll use the very first logic bomb to get some audio cues as to where everybody is situated. The open hole above him will mean that, well, he knows that there's someone nearby. Here's the Vigil, and the ceiling will get blown up, but Vigil off the phone. Who's going to win this one? The K1A, what a kill from Tactus, and already proving to be a pretty good choice. 2 kills since swapping off of the Clash and making his presence known, and just 30 seconds left.
Also the first player on Supremacy to break 1 kill, so good job to make it to 2. You can see the angle play here for Secret. He's just looking to get any picks he possibly can after opening up that wall. He's done a lot of work already. Alive, though, takes out secretly as he pushes into the bathroom. Here we go, Supremacy. Red Groove in a good position to cut off rotation, and Dejus will go down. Snukin's got to bring that diffuser to the site, though, with so little time, and Anthrax still in play with that Yokai drone. It's unlikely the diffuser plant's going to go down successfully. And yes, indeed, it will be stopped on the 0-0-0. A nice try, but finally, Supremacy get around on defense.
And so much of that was just having another capable roamer. The Vigil just being able to kill time. Chaos not doing due diligence to drone out effectively and give that information to their teammate. I mean, Renewals, yeah, maybe Renewals probably should have had a bit more heads up there himself. But you've got to figure that they probably droned out a Vigil at some point. They knew that he was lurking around. That gadget that Vigil uses goes both ways. It still lets the attackers know that there's a Vigil nearby when you're on your drone.
You know, I think it has to do with the fact that Supremacy was so light with their roaming earlier in the match, and I think Chaos just wasn't expecting such a shift from Supremacy. Now, this is something that's a little bit unnerving. Oh, okay, it's been solved. I was a little worried. I saw the clash there again. I was like, oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, I was not ready for that.
But so they're going to 6-pick onto a Bandit. They will go back to Aviator, so they've only defended 2 sites so far on this half, and this will be their very last defensive round. They need to win this. If they have any chance at drawing this or winning it or anything, they certainly need to win this, because as soon as Chaos transitions to defense, they are going to become so much more formidable.
If the belief that Villa is a defender-sided map carries through, irrespective of operator bans, though, to be fair.
Yep.
Because this could also be that Supremacy are trying to paddle against the current if Mira and Smoke have really been such a detriment to the defense.
I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal not having a Mira on.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I think we'll really see when it does switch sides.
We also did see a number of rounds, despite Mira not being banned in previous matches today, her not being played. And defense would come out successful with that formula. I mean, it's not an essential function as much as it is such a powerful one. And I think that both teams here can make it work without her. But I don't know. We'll see. Supremacy's been struggling a lot. Like I talked about, though, like we've discussed, they definitely do need to win this. I mean, even if you don't have that mirror window, you need to win on defensive Villa. So Chaos are clearing out here from north to south yet again, as they have done twice already on Aviator. This will be their 3rd attempt, and they made it work for them, well, twice. So if they make it work again, then yeah, they're going to end this half very comfortable in a 4-1 situation. Now they have brought the hard destructor that they needed last time. Big difference here. Look at that. Bandit and a mute, which means taking care of the gadgets for the defense is going to be a big function. And they don't have a Thatcher in play, so it's going to be harder for Chaos to make this happen. Tactus yet again roaming. He's been able to do so much work roaming in the last round. Misses a very important shot, though, and that's an opportunity wasted there for the Bandit. He's going to have to fall back, and his position has been called out.
And Renewals, who really has not been able to get much started, will just get shredded by Alive. The Jaeger playing on the stairs. A grenade tossed out from Snukin will find Dejus. So an IQ and a Mute will both be taken out. One from the attackers, of course, and one from the defense. And the first frag's going down in final 75 seconds. Shows a lot of patience on the part of Supremacy, whose roam has not been quite as off and aggressive as it was last round.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Now Chaos only has a minute left. They don't really have a whole lot to work with. They seem kind of all over the place in their attack strategy here. K6 is going to get secretly too, so that all over the place strategy not really working out as there's no one there to refrag secretly. You can see Crips is still dancing with the roamers. Snukin will get K6 though, so the refrag does eventually happen. Crips aware of the Bandit. He could hear also Alive above him though, and he chooses to take that fight instead of the Bandit. Anthrax playing very likely by that bar, as he always does. That's not a great position if you're known to be there. The Bandit spotted out on the south stairs, and Crips gets yet another kill. It's all up to Anthrax in a 1 versus 3, and he cannot even win the first fight against Crips. excellent job there with the C7-5. Crips making it work, and Chaos end the half 4-1.
Doesn't matter if you nerf the SMG-12, a pretty decent gun. You've got a secondary there in the C7-5, which just absolutely chews people and spits them out. So 3K for Crips to finish the round, as close to a triple kill as you often get in this game, and a 4-1 on attack for Chaos is pretty damning. Now, it really depends, once again, on these operator bans. I think that if we can see Chaos possibly stick 2 rounds in a row, go through a 6-1, then it becomes a bit of a moot point. Chaos just ends up being the better team who walks away from this. But at the end of the day, this is, once again, a big problem for Supremacy. They had things going in that 4th round. They had Tactis roaming. He was able to just continuously evade Chaos, and Chaos didn't look like the team that could coordinate and be able to find him out. And then what happens? They rein it in on that 5th round, and they just let Chaos play the game that Chaos has been playing so far through 5 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but also the anchors were doing better for Supremacy in that last round. I mean, K6 managed to do a lot of work as that Maestro, and what happened, man? It all just started falling apart, one player at a time. It's unfortunate to see from Supremacy, but I can't say I'm surprised with their current performance in this season. Now, it's going to be a trophy defense to start things off here from Chaos. Not that crazy of a thing to do. And they're going to have a Cav brought for their roamers. So we talked about how important the roamers are on this map, no matter who you are. And we have seen, actually Cav played earlier today, I believe in the G2 secret match, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely a formidable operator on a map like this, where you can find just little corners you can sit in and wait for an opportunity to come up behind your opponent. So many sets of stairs. So many flank opportunities. The entire basement is a safe haven, essentially. Except for the fact that Anthrax is playing on Jackal and seemingly wants to clear out that basement, along with Alive.
It's very strange to see a clear go that deep into the basement. I mean, maybe because they suspect that there might be a Cav if they droned her out during the prep phase. Of course, she was 6th picked, so she wasn't made aware, or her presence wasn't made aware through the reveal. But I mean, I'm assuming they probably droned her at some point during that that prep phase, as was stated.
I feel like it's important to reiterate, if you are unfamiliar, the way that the operator ban phase or pick phase works is that you get to pick your operators, then for a brief period your operators are revealed to your opponents and theirs are revealed to you, and then each team gets to pick one operator and 6-pick it into a different operator if they should choose, and the other team will be none the wiser. So,
I like that Supremacy is really abusing 3 strong operators here. Jackal, Lion, and Blackbeard, when all used in conjunction with one another, can be very difficult to contain. Anthrax is the Jackal is going to find secretly, and that is the Caveira, so there will be no spooky Cav plays, no possible interrogations, as the floor is going to get shot away from at the Echo. Tactis just waiting ever so patiently as Anthrax is trying to open up the floor. But look at that, Snookin, who he was trying to find, will end up out-dueling him, and the Echo will have to pause ever so briefly as we hit the 1-minute mark.
Slow going here for Supremacy, just a simple Master take. Snookin has information, though, on all the players inside of Master, thinks that Yokai drone. Great positioning there. Redgroove holding on to Statuary by himself, but he's the perfect operator to do so with all those Legion traps. Renewal's holding a long angle as well to support his teammate. No one's holding on to Astronomy. That's the very dangerous thing right now. Redgroove's going to use some of his goo mines, but still, no one hard holding that Astronomy is scary. It's a very powerful position, and if Supremacy can take it, it could be very important for them. Crips taking the fight in the main hallway, looking for some kills.
And I mean, it's Redgroove who's going to be the one whose focal point will try to be Astro, as he can dump out all those Legion mines. Renewal's realizing that there's going to be a Lion there. He'll be detected ever so slightly and just gunned down, trying to take the Lion out of action. Crips trades off K6, and look at this. Redgroove sees 2, a huge bit of patience, and Redgroove will capitalize, being able to pounce on them. Only one left is Deju's, and he'll take out Redgroove, but the time is not his ally. Pre-fires from Crips, and even though the Hibana will persevere, the timer will give it in favor of Chaos and they find themselves on match point. Red Groove. Wow.
What a play for him, holding on to that astronomy push. Very well done. You saw that Supremacy realized they could take astronomy, and as soon as they did, the collapse happened, and the retake initiated from Chaos could not be stopped. Aviator now going to be the next site for this match. We have not seen anything other than Aviator and trophies so far today. Well, I say today, actually we have. We've seen Villa play twice outside of this one. But in this match between Chaos and Supremacy, it's been Aviator and trophy. And we're going to go back to the old Aviator for the first time here for Chaos. They will be bringing Cav once more onto the breach. And we'll see if he can get an interrogation this time around. It's always fun to see. Renewals doesn't have any kills despite his team being up 5-1.
I was going to say crazy that in terms of kills, you've only got 4 people contributing. Now, I mean, Renewals hasn't necessarily just been playing a role where he needs to get kills. He did play Ash that one fateful round where he got just outgunned by the Vigil. But, I mean, still, those evil eye cams that he's going to have on Maestro are going to be responsible for some aid to the rest of his team. He might not net him a kill, but it will be very helpful for the other 4 members.
5 seconds to go.
So, the setup here from Chaos, standard fare. No mirror windows means full reinforcement by study. Open up a few rotation holes between the site. Looks like they're going to be roaming over towards the north. Makes sense, considering usually how a team will play on defense is how they would try to counter themselves on attack. And since Chaos cleared so avidly from the north to the south when attacking this site, they will roam on the north and try to prevent that exact clear. Makes sense. Secretly over by the middle stairs, and he's just looking for, again, that interrogation. If he can find one of these attackers off on their lonesome, he actually might be able to find K6. This could potentially be the perfect opportunity for the Cav to make something happen, and he decides to go for the kill with the rifle, well, the SMG. I mean, a kill's a kill. Well, it's unfortunate he couldn't get the interrogation on the lonesome attacker. Either way, though, Lion off the board, and that is huge tool no longer at the disposal of Supremacy. And why is it no longer at the disposal of Supremacy? Because nobody droned him in. Not sure what happened there.
Well, it did look like the Lion droned himself in and then just went for the jump, but was droning the adjacent room rather than the room that the Cav was sitting in.
Yes, that.
Yeah, but I mean, still, that's obviously a problem. You can't be solo droning in. It looked like a good impact trick there from Red Groove. Will stop one round of Xkaros from Dijus, and secretly still on the move downstairs. The Cav will just continue to sneak around those abundance of rooms that are in the first floor of Villa, and as he edges his way up towards the main stairs, could possibly get the interrogation that we know everybody cheers for and hopes for. Oh, this is a great opportunity, but Alive gets out of there with just about 25 HP. Looked close enough. A bit of hesitation from Secretly might have been the reason for him to fail to get that kill that was needed. This Frankenstein hole that's been opened up by the Hibana as well will not be that much help other than a sightline for the attackers.
That's what feels bad there for Secretly. Just an opportunity miss. But still, his team looks well positioned to win this. As you can see, they have successfully held out the site. You see Supremacy's pushing their way into that study, but they're not able to make anything happen from it. Renewals sitting on 90, doing so much work from this position. And the round will continue to play out, but unfortunately, we will not be able to see it.
Awful timing for that to happen, if we're being completely honest, as it's on match point, and there was only about 40 seconds to go, so we'll try to get in and catch the very end of that matchup, in which it was a 4v3. Great position for Chaos to just simply clamp down and hold on. They're sitting at 5-1, so either Supremacy is going to be able to eke out one round victory and still have a gulf between them and the Swedes, or that'll be all she wrote. We're loading up right now, so hopefully we'll be able to get there in time. A couple things. Man, Supremacy letting the Caveira go around, even Alive, looked like it was just pure reflexes. He didn't anticipate the Cav creeping up on him. It was that he threw the drone, but he had advanced droning on. For those that are unaware, advanced droning is that you can throw your drone and it doesn't immediately put you on it. So the Ash throws the drone, and right as he was about to go onto the drone, what ends up happening? He sees the Cav at the last second and is able to just outgun them because the R4C is a pretty good gun.
It's similar to advanced gadget deployment, but for drones, and it's basically essential if you want to play in competitive. It gives you such an advantage. It takes a little bit more time to get used to because we've all been doing, you know, basic droning for so long, but it is definitely something that you should turn on if you haven't already. So we're just waiting to find out what's going on here, but you know, it did honestly just look like Chaos was ready to win it. It looked like they had it in the bag at that point. The lockout was real. Renewal's got his first kill, if I'm not mistaken. And everything was coming together for Chaos. We'll find out what actually did happen in the round in due time. But I wouldn't be surprised if it ended and this was a 6-1 in Chaos's favor.
I mean, then we'll be able to ask them about what changed here, because prior to this, there was, you know, like I said, there was 14 defensive round victories and 4 attacker round victories. And in this game alone, as it stood right now, there was 4 attacker victories. Just on one. We doubled it. Just like that. So we'll just wait to see and get some confirmation as to whether or not the game is over or the game is continuing on. But man, I gotta say, Supremacy was given their best opportunity so far to pick up a win. And it's just fallen short.
And yeah, so confirmation just coming in now. The score is 6-1. Chaos won, while we were not able to see.
Unfortunate that it wasn't captured, but overall impressive for Chaos. And that is quite the drubbing. So, I mean, it's 7th place team versus an 8th place team. Supremacy will have 4